Hey everybody, it's me again. Uh, Hopefully you're about to enjoy episode 10 of the Usher Foundation. It's a good one. Thank you so much, of course, to my co-writer Mari for helping me out and for being the voice of Mari Delator. I just wanted to hop in at the top of the episode to let you guys know that after episode 10, we are going on a couple month hiatus. The reason we're doing that is just to finalize and flesh out the rest. Haha, flesh out. God, that was a stupid joke. What we want for not just the rest of season 1, but for the rest of the show. Do some really hardcore planning, and then we will be back for the rest of season 1. We've already done a lot of the planning. I'm really excited about where this show is going. And I hope you are as well. We will keep you updated in the meantime with just like specifically when we plan on coming back. But in general, it will be either in September or October that we plan to start posting season 1 again. We're thinking about 40 episodes per season, just like the Magnus Archives. So hopefully that'll give you guys the juicy content you want and deserve. I'm going to shut up now so that you can listen to the episode. Thank you so much for anyone who is listening. We've been having a lot of fun playing around with different types of horror writing, getting that practice in, but also learning about audio interfacing, audio recording, what it takes to have like a professional audio setup. It's been super fun, very informative, very educational. And I know that Mari as well is so grateful. And we are just so excited to bring you this show. Okay, I actually will shut up for real now. Please enjoy episode 10. Content warnings. Sleep paralysis. Hallucinations. Panic. Darkness. Please listen at your own discretion. The Usher Foundation. Episode 10. Sleep Paralysis Demon. Can I get you anything else? Water, some food?
No, the coffee's fine. Thank you.
Sure. Are you ready?
As I'll ever be. How does this work exactly?
Well, normally you'd write your statement and we'd do a follow-up, but recently we've switched over to audio recordings. Easier to archive, less paper, etc. Since you're here in person, I'll use this tape recorder.
Tape recorder?
I know, it's a little archaic, but we've experienced issues using more modern forms of recording. This thing is old, but reliable. If it helps, just talk to me like we're having a normal conversation. Pretend like the recorder isn't here.
Sure. That's fine. So, how do I start?
Well, I'll begin with my preliminary notes. Statement of Kelsey Sharp, age 27 at time of statement. Statement number 01042717. Summary of statement. This is where you say why you're here, what the statement is regarding.
Sleep paralysis hallucination.
Okay, summary of statement, a sleep paralysis hallucination. Original statement taken directly via interview on January 3rd, 2017. Interview conducted by Amita Dasgupta, archival assistant at the Usher Foundation of Paranormal Research, Washington, D.C. Statement begins. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Are you familiar with sleep paralysis? It's a medical phenomenon where the person is conscious. Their mind is awake, but their body is completely paralyzed. So they lay there, sometimes for up to 20 minutes, unable to move, to speak. From what I've read, a lot of people experience sleep paralysis at least once in their lives, but only 5% of the population experiences regular episodes. You can guess which group I fall into. Lucky me. My first episode was when I was 15. I don't even remember what I was dreaming about. I just remember waking up and not being able to move. It seemed like hours, and my heart was pounding out of my chest. And I wanted to scream, but my jaw was locked, and I could barely breathe. When I was finally able to move, I ran sobbing to my parents' room, completely panicked. Since then, I've had episodes pretty regularly, about once a week. I just wake up in the morning and I'm not able to move. It seriously feels like sleep paralysis episodes go on forever, but in reality, they only ever last a couple minutes. It's terrible. Waking up with no control like that, I can't describe the instant fear you feel. The surge of adrenaline when you realize you can't so much as twitch your fingers. And then there's the hallucinations. According to the long string of doctors I've seen about it, the hallucinations are a result of your brain continuing to dream while you're awake. The things you see are just figments of imagination brought into reality, sort of. Some people see animals, some people see themselves from above, almost like they're floating above their bodies. Some people even see demons or malicious presences. But I've only ever seen one thing. The Mound. It's a stupid name, I know. But it's what my teenage brain came up with. And even now, I don't know how else to describe it. It's like a kind of blob shape made of pure darkness. It doesn't have any arms or legs, but it undulates its body to move, like a snake. And its eyes, black, glittering. Horrible eyes that stare at me when I can't move or scream. Those eyes are how I know that the Mound hates me. Ever since the first time I saw it, I knew it wanted to hurt me. You're probably wondering why on earth I decided to waste your time about a sleep paralysis hallucination. I don't blame you. I'm sure you have to debunk all kinds of crazy stories. I can't even imagine the kinds of people who wander in here with some fake tale of terror. I don't even know why I'm here, really. Just a feeling. I can't be sure what I'm about to tell you is real, and I have no proof. I just have my word, and a bad feeling.
Please, Miss Sharp, continue.
Right, sorry. I don't always see the Mound. Sometimes I don't see anything at all. When I'm lying there, trapped beneath the covers and my unmoving, leaden limbs. Sometimes it's just waves of panic that paralyze my body. But if I do see the Mound, it's always been predictable, if that makes sense. It's always at the opposite end of my bed, right in front of my door. It roils and spreads that jet black darkness across the entire floor and walls. It gets bigger and bigger until it's towering over me. Eventually, the room can barely contain it, and I think for sure it's going to engulf me and smother me to death. All the while, it glares at me with those shiny, wet, obsidian eyes. When it vanishes, I suck in air like I've never breathed before, and I'm always drenched in sweat and clawing at my sheets. It's unpleasant, to say the least, but it's been like that for years. Like I said, predictable. When the Mound showed up, it was terrifying, but at least I knew it would menace me for a few minutes and then disappear. Everything changed last week. I woke up at about 4 in the morning. I remember because when my eyes opened, my head was facing my alarm clock. the red numbers assaulting my vision. My muscles were locked into place at an uncomfortable angle. I could feel a panic settling into the pit of my stomach. So I tried to force myself to breathe deeply and just try to make it through the paralysis. And then, out of nowhere, the mound appeared. It wasn't across the room, far away from me like it normally was. It was mere inches from my face, those glittering eyes boring into mine, its shapeless features roiling and shifting in the dark. I tried to scream, but obviously I couldn't. I could only stare at it in silent horror, my slow breathing technique abandoned. It felt like we were there, locked in that moment for hours, or at least much longer than my episodes normally last, until the mound started to move. Its heaving body inched towards mine. I wanted nothing more than to shriek when a tendril of the darkness touched my mattress. I wanted to shout as loudly as I could and sprint out of my room. I wanted to turn on all the lights and never turn them off again for as long as I lived. But I couldn't. And of course, that's really where the horror of sleep paralysis comes from. The total and utter lack of control you experience. You don't get to be in charge of whatever might happen to you during an episode. You're just a silent passenger, and whatever might happen, you get to deal with the fallout. The mound's tendril didn't touch my skin, but I could feel it radiating icy cold. It shifted its weight on the mattress, maybe testing it a little, and I knew it was going to try to fully envelop me. Tears streamed down my face, both from not blinking for so long and from utter terror. I tried to use my eyes to plead with the mound. Don't touch me. I don't want to die. Please, God. But it didn't care. I swore I saw glee in those shining, dark eyes. And then I could move, and it was gone. I bolted upright, sobbing uncontrollably, scrambling out of bed faster than I ever have in my life. I turned on every light in my apartment, and I ended up spending the rest of the night on my couch, though I didn't do much sleeping. The next day, I tried to go on living like normal, even though I had never been more shaken, because ultimately, what choice did I have? I had no reason to believe that this was anything but a new hallucination, an awful one, of course. But I'd been dealing with awful hallucinations for years. I thought if I ignored the memory, the feeling of it all, it would leave me soon enough. Then, of course, I started seeing the mound during the day. And I don't mean like when I was napping. I mean, I was fully conscious, fully awake, seeing that thing just existing in the world. I first saw it at work during a meeting. I was only half listening to my supervisor giving a boring PowerPoint and saying something nonsensical about data points and client feedback. Most of us at the office tune out these weekly presentations, and I knew I wasn't the only one staring absently into space. I was letting my mind wander, mentally preparing for another night on the couch, when I looked up into the corner of the room, dimly lit, and I saw the mound. It was just sitting right there, as if it had been there the whole meeting, staring into me with that utter hatred, dark body pooling outwards. I screamed and fell out of my chair and just fled. I didn't really breathe again until I got home. I locked my door, shoved my dining table up against it, and just stayed home. I've only left to get food, really. I got an email from HR later that day with some links to mental health resources and a message from my supervisor informing me that if I needed a break from work, all I had to do was ask. In all honesty, everyone at work has been very kind and understanding, but still, I haven't been back to work since then. I made up some excuses about a dying grandmother, stress, life problems. I can't go back. I can't face everyone yet. I've seen the mound 4 times during the days since then. At the grocery store, at my local cafe, in the corner of my living room, and in the stairwell of my apartment building. Each time, it gets a little bigger, a little faster with those reaching arms of darkness. Each time I run as fast as I can, it's at the point where I can't stand nighttime. It's terrible to be awake in the dark, but it's worse to be asleep. I jump at the slightest bit of shadow. I'm sure my power bill is through the roof with the lights I've been keeping on 24/7. Anyways, the reason I'm here is that everything sort of came to a head yesterday. You know how it stormed all day? Well, I don't know if it happened here, but at my apartment, we had a power outage. I was drinking more coffee and lying on my couch, trying to read a book. Truthfully, the words were swimming on the page in front of me, and I wasn't really even understanding what I was reading. Mostly I was trying to stay awake. Then, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my apartment went dark. I must have jumped about 3 feet into the air in shock. You have to understand, I don't even own any candles. I had to scramble in a panic to my kitchen drawers where I kept a flashlight for emergencies. My hands were shaking so badly that it took me 3 tries to turn it on, and the beam of light it emitted was laughably dim and weak compared to the seemingly oppressive darkness I found myself in. I swung my flashlight around wildly for a moment, just checking to make sure nothing was there. For a second, I almost thought everything was normal. Just a normal power outage. Nothing to be scared of. Then my flashlight went dead. I yelped and banged on it a few times trying to get it to work, but it remained stubbornly dark. I threw it at the wall in frustration and tried to get a handle on my quick, panicked breaths. Tried to calm myself down from the breakdown I could feel coming. I don't know how I knew it was there. I just remember an icy chill at my back and the hairs of my arms standing up. When I spun around in terror, it was there, maybe 2 or 3 feet away from me. Of course it was. The mound looked bigger than the other times I'd seen it. Massive in a way that made me want to throw up. It towered over me, its shifting body inching closer while I screamed and scrambled backwards. Its glittering eyes were hungry and eager as it made its way towards me, and I just knew that this was it. I was going to die alone in my apartment, and no one would find me because I would be eaten by this awful manifestation of darkness. I squeezed my eyes shut and sobbed as the mound's cold tendrils wrapped around me. All of a sudden, the power came back on. All my lights flooded the space at once. The mound disappeared, vanished into thin air as electricity flowed through my home again. I didn't even have the strength to be relieved. I just stayed on the floor, sobbing and shaking until I managed to pull myself up and calm down. I opened my laptop and did some searching and found out about this place and how close by it was. and I knew I had to stop by and talk to someone. I think after the incident at work, I still, had hope that I could work through this, maybe get a therapist, find new coping strategies, go back to my normal life. But after yesterday, I've given up on that. The mound is showing up more frequently, and it keeps getting closer and bigger. Those tendrils of darkness get nearer to me every time I see it. I know it's going to kill me. It's going to show up any day now, and that horrible, roiling body is going to swallow me up until I drown in darkness. It doesn't matter how many lamps I buy, how many flashlight batteries I stock up on. No matter how many lights you turn on, there's always a shadow lurking in the corner. That's it? That's my statement?
Statement ends. Miss Sharp, do you truly believe your life is in danger? Because I can see about arranging some police protection. The Foundation has certain favors it can call on.
I wouldn't bother. It probably won't help. I mainly just wanted to tell somebody what's been happening to me before I die. Though I guess if I'm still alive by the end of this week, I'll check back in. Maybe I'll have a new statement for you.
I suppose so. And if you don't check back in?
Then send the police to my apartment. My parents and my brother will want a body for the funeral. Bye, Miss Dasgupta. You were a big help.
Hey, Richard, what do I have to do to arrange a wellness check on someone for a few days from now?
Stupid.
Hey, so what are you doing? Please don't mess with that. I have no backup if you accidentally delete the recordings from today.
I wasn't... Whatever.
I'm glad you were free to talk, Mar. There are some things we need to discuss.
You mentioned.
Yeah. Well, it's about your work performance recently. You were assigned the same number of statements and cases as Kaylee, and yet you've been finishing half the amount of work she...
Wow. Ha. Seriously, Mita? This is what you want to talk about? Okay. I'm sorry I'm not some genius with a perfectly working brain and a peachy keen, perfect little life. I promise to find more hours in the day to cram in even more work for our great overlord Richard. Can I go now? I actually do not have time for this.
No, it's not just that. I'm worried about you. You're distant, you're constantly rushing to leave as soon as it hits 5 p.m. You're always on your phone. You're just not acting like yourself lately. And it feels like you're not taking this job seriously either.
Oh, you mean the job you wanted? The job that Kaylee and I followed you to, like the pathetic underlings we are? The job that I couldn't give less than one shit about? You know life exists outside of this institute and its stupid statements and inane research, right? Please, enlighten me, oh great Amita. How exactly am I sucking at this pointless job?
Okay, well, since you asked, I listened to the statements you recorded. The follow-ups are pretty shit, and really, Mari, changing your voice for a statement. This isn't some game or something. This work is important, and you know that. You know why I'm here.
Why you're here has nothing to do with me, okay? And how am I treating this like a game? Literally all I've done is everything you've ever asked of me, and you're saying it's still not enough for you? You know what? I don't care. You're not my fucking boss, Mita, in case you forgot, and I don't have to listen to you. With everything I'm dealing with right now, this is actually the last fucking thing I need.
What are you dealing with, Mari? You've been acting like this for weeks. If you would just talk to Kaylee and I...
You'd what? What would you do, Amita? I don't need your help. I'm fine. You don't have to worry about me, okay? I'll see you tomorrow.
Mari, wait!
The Magnus Archives is a podcast written by Jonathan Sims and produced by Alexander J. Newall and distributed by Rusty Quill. Story, characters, and ideas written about in this fan-made project belong to Rusty Quill. The Usher Foundation is a fan-made project co-written by Rashmi Phillips and Mari and edited by Mari, Kaylee F, Amber, and Emma. All audio used in this project was Creative Commons Use Audio. Thank you for listening.